this is Roger, thanks for dropping by. Going around the rest of the watering. I've just noticed that certainly wasn't there last time I looked. So if you think about it, because I was looking for bugs, I'm always doing that. Yeah, I'm always just opening the base of those leaves. So obviously last time I watered that, I'd have done that to that leaf. I can't do it anymore in case I damage that spike, but that's Catatanti. I'll put a pop-up of the blooms. They are wonderful. So I'm really hoping that's going to push on to be, if it's anything like the last spike, it was nearly a metre long, probably had about 50 blooms on it. They're a gorgeous autumn browny orange with yellow colour. Not huge blooms, but the sheer number normally makes up for it. So hopefully that will push on now. It takes an awful long time for the spike to actually open because they're multiple branches. So it's got to push up the main spike, push out the branches and everything. It takes a while, but well worth the wait. I'll see if there's anything else as I go round. Well, this is both sad and good, I suppose. You always have to look on the bright side. I thought this was a spike. Well, it's decided to be a new growth. The good part about that is that means I can repot this, which I'm dreading doing, but it's got to be done. That's my, it's now called Oncidium alexandrae. Once upon a time that was Odontoglossum crispum. A very historical plant, one of the first orchids to bloom in the UK, and started the whole Victorian orchid craze, which if that hadn't started, we probably wouldn't be the orchid people we are today. And that could apply to the rest of Europe as well, and many other parts of the world. Started a craze, this little beauty. Anyway, we have a new growth. That means in the not too distant future, I can actually repot it. And we'll see what's in that pot, because I haven't dared take it out yet. It's a precious orchid to me, and it would be difficult to get again, and it's quite a good plant. So we'll see how we go with that. Anyway, nice little new growth pushing on that I thought was going to be a spike, but yeah, well, win some, lose some. And this is like I think of it as its brother, because they both came from the same place, bought at the same time. And this is another old-fashioned Odontoglossum type that's now called Oncidium, and this is Golden Rialto. Now this one's got quite a good new growth coming, so again, good time to repot, but I'll wait for that one to push on a little bit with that new growth, and then I can do them together. As I say, they were bought together, the chances are they've been in their pots the same amount of time. So I'll get them out soon and see what we've got, see what we can work with. But both of those come under the cool growers category, a bit like Miltoniopsis and things like that. Nellie-Islas, if you've got them, they don't like heat. They can take a reasonable amount of light, but they just don't like the heat. You know, if you're going to have warmer temperatures when you grow these, you've got to have the high humidity, or they will just deteriorate quite fast too. That's that one then. Just while I'm at it, another telltale sign that you perhaps should be thinking about repotting is your watering pattern. Now, when I first got these got watered about every week to 8, 9, maybe even 10 days, depending on the weather, of course. These two weren't watered last week, and they're not getting watered again today because they are still damp. Now, that implies that media's going, yeah? When media starts holding water a lot longer than it used to, it's going to break down faster. It's as simple as that. It doesn't really matter too much what the media is unless it's purely inorganic, in which case it won't break down. But you know what I mean. If you've got organic media, especially if you've got moss included, when it starts to hold water longer, yeah, it means it's breaking down. It just is. That's why it's storing water for so long, which means it takes a lot longer to dry your plants out in between watering, which can start your root system deteriorating. So, you know, keep your eye on your regularity. Don't just water because it's Wednesday. Have a look and have a think, and go from there. This little Arengus is coming on. the buds are starting to show their spurs now, and certainly that top bud's starting to show the colour, which will be white. You know, most Orangus are white or pale green or creamy or pale yellowy white, but they all are fundamentally white. They're moth pollinated, night scented, so they don't need colours. But that spike's coming on. It just lurks in the background doing its thing, and one day I'll pick it up and there'll be a flower open. Not yet though, but it's coming on. Nice little plant. Be the first one of those I've ever bloomed anyway. Coming on, coming soon. We'd have another look at this one. I don't know how long these blooms are going to last. I mean, some Cattleyas really don't last that long, and I think it's more the large flowered ones that don't age well. But I've just noticed this morning this is actually fragrant. Yeah, so little bonus. It's got another 2 buds coming on there, and I'm going to stake that cane now, because the cane that this one was on I had to stake after the blooms opened, because they got so heavy they were in danger of breaking the actual pseudo bulb at the base. They were so heavy. So if I can catch the other cane before the bulbs develop their aspect, which will be soon, then it can open the right way up instead of being sideways on like these 2 opened. But sideways, upside down, I don't care. With colours like that, that'll do. But I'll try and get the next 2 buds to actually align nicely, and we'll see what we can do. But yeah, fragrant as well. Bonus. It's a sort of like roses, I would say, is about the nearest. I'm not very good at describing fragrances in words, and we haven't got smelly vision, so I can't actually let you smell it. But yeah, I'd say quite rose-like. And colours are quite rose-like in some cases too. But a real beauty, this one. I'm pleased with this. Good plant too. And once it's finished blooming, it can go in its nice big holy clay pot with its chunky bark, and it can stay there for years. And hopefully we can get several lots of new growths in several directions and get a mass blooming maybe in a couple of years' time. Whoopee! And this Young Min Orange is not too far off opening now. When you get the multifloral spikes on Cattleya types and the buds start to spread, that means they're not too far from opening. While they're all tight like that, they're a little bit away. But this is probably the first one that's going to open. There's just a touch of the orange showing. Young Min Orange, it's all in the name, you know. So yeah, I don't know how much longer, but that is going to be open, I'm pretty confident, for our show towards the end of the month. I mean, that's just over 2 weeks away. I can't actually put it in the competition because with the rules as they are at the moment, I haven't owned that plant long enough. These buds were in place when I bought the plant. So it wouldn't be fair on somebody who's grown a plant, you know, for a nice long time and got it to bloom like this. These are not my buds. I bought it with the buds. Next time, they'll be mine. But this time I'll just enjoy them. And it can still go in the display in the show, the non-competitive part. You know, it can still take part. But it needs to be open. We've got to get that far first. And not blast, of course. I don't think they're going to blast. They're showing no signs. They'll be fine. It's strange how the smallest of changes, by just taking the heater and that air cleaner off of that table, that has speeded up. It's almost halved the time of watering my pots, because I can now water the pot, put it on that table. Next one, water it on that table. Whereas before, they were having to go down there, which meant bending over, turning round, leaning behind me. You know, that saved me an awful lot of time, just that one little change. Now there will come a time where I don't need the heater anymore, and that table will come out of here, and I'll rearrange where the little air cleaner goes and things like that. But for the moment, that table's coming in really useful. So that's all my pots done now. So any changes or anything to do with the pots, which is very little, quite honestly, I've already done. That is now opening up. Still not properly open, so I'll catch it again when it is, but yeah, that's okay. But yeah, I've got to get on and do all my mounts now. For once, I did say I wasn't going to go 3 days between the mounts anymore because of the time of year, but we've had such dull, cold weather that 3 days we're back to. That's just how it is. I have to keep adjusting the frequency of the watering. But what I've got to stop doing is leaving the Vandas for 3 days. They really shouldn't go that long without those roots getting done, because the roots will shut down. You know, they'll lose growing tips and things. They've got to stay hydrated. So they must be every other day. And from now on they will be. So, bucket time. Okay, if there's nothing else, I'll see you again next time. But I'll see how I go. I doubt if I'm going to come across anything on the mounts that's changed, because I handle them frequently. So I'm not going to see much. We'll see. Otherwise, thanks for dropping by. See you next time. Yay, we got another Tolumnia spike. And just for Rachel, there it is. Poor old Rachel couldn't see the last one, and when I looked at the video, yeah, it was pretty difficult because it ran alongside a leaf. So unless you looked specifically at that leaf, you wouldn't have seen it. So fair enough. But that one you can see. Yay. And that's Tolumnia Peach. And that's bloomed for me. It was in bloom when I've got it. It's bloomed since. And now it's going to bloom again. So this is a good one. And that came from a Kearns, the people I had the beef with about their dratted rain mix fertiliser. But I've always said they still produce good plants. I'm never going to take that away from them. And they will be at the RHS show at the end of March. They will be there. They won't know who I am. They won't know me from Adam. And if they've got good plants, I'll be quite happy to buy from them. But there's one thing I definitely won't be buying from them. Not ever again. Anyway, Tolumnia spike. That's 1, 2, 3, that's the 5th spike. So I've got 5 Tolumnia spikes pushing on now. Yay! No blooms yet.